Wait, so they are revealing information? I'm gonna just open it quickly. Here we
By
go.
the 14th century, Mali was one of the richest nations of all time. When Mansa Musa went on his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, he brought with him and then gave away or spent so much gold that as he passed through Cairo, he depressed the gold economy of Egypt for 12 years.
That's where I left off.
With that in mind, to do justice to the empire in Age of Empires 4, the Malians have a military tradition rooted in hit-and-run combat and tools for a vast gold economy. On the gold side, Mali has a couple of early additions that are going to help out your income. They're going to have toll outposts, which are the replacement for the outpost. When one of your traders passes by nearby, it instantly generates 10% of the carried gold it has, goes right into your bank, up to 50% per trip. It also retains all the vision, weapons, upgrades that you usually have, so it pulls up.
Wait, 10% of the total trip? So if you're trading 200 gold, you get 20 gold per thing? Yeah, I mean, the toll outposts are, I'm assuming you can upgrade them to be a tower.
Double duty and defends that trade route for you. As a unique building, they get the pit mine. So this can be built on a gold deposit, similar to how the Mongol Ovu is built on a stone deposit. It generates gold over time. However, unlike the Ovu, it does not deplete the gold deposit. We start off letting you do 1 in the Dark Age, and then you get an additional 1 per age as you advance, maxing out obviously at.
Told you it's gonna be 1 per age. Because in the video we see multiple, but some are smaller and some are bigger gold mines. I said that it's gonna be 1 per age, because otherwise you could just open with 5 Ovus.
The villagers can still access the deposit under the mine, so if you need a lot of gold fast, you can double up in manual harvest as well.
Wait, what?
That's awesome. So that means actually, because it doesn't deplete that, it's basically free gold.
It is free gold. The passive generation starts pretty small, but it scales up actually with
Wait, you can mine the gold and it's infinite.
any houses or mining camps you build around the pit mine.
Why would you trade them?
It kind of encourages you to go out on the map, expand, build up these little mining communities, and then, you have to defend them, obviously. So, you've got the gold. What are you going to do with it? We have traditional options for technologies and units with a gold cost. But the Malians, they have other options to invest that gold, including the new Gaia cattle, which is a food economy source. So you build them at your mill and they cost gold. And immediately, as soon as they pop out, they're worth about twice as much as a sheep if you start gathering from them immediately. Starting in feudal, though, you can.
Wait, let me hear this again.
Actually, with any houses or mining camp, the villagers can still access the deposit under the mine. Okay. So if you need a lot of gold fast, you can double up in manual harvest as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So that means actually, because it doesn't deplete that, it's basically free gold.
It is.
Sorry that I'm going back on this one. I got a brain freeze from ice cream.
It is free gold. The passive generation starts pretty small, but it scales up actually with any houses or mining camps you build around the pit mine. It kind of encourages you to go out on the map, expand, build up these little mining communities, and then, you have to defend them, obviously. So, you've got the gold. What are you going to do with it? We have traditional options for technology.
This is so weird. So there's gold ooh per age, and I'm assuming each age the ooh is better. It trickles in gold, but you can also increase the amount of gold you get from it by building houses, and you can mine from it. Holy shit.
Technologies and units with a gold cost. But the Malians, they have other options to invest that gold, including the new Gaia cattle, which is a food economy source. So you build them at your mill and they cost gold. And immediately, as soon as they pop out, they're worth about twice as much as a sheep if you start gathering from them immediately. Economy source. So you build them at your mill and they cost gold. And immediately, as soon as they pop out, they're worth about twice as much as a sheep if you start gathering from them immediately. Starting in feudal, though, you can start building ranches nearby, which lets you put your cattle on the ranch and generate that gold over time, and it's better for long-term growth. But obviously, they're still there if you want that food.
Wait, you get gold from the fucking cows as well? What the fuck? If you put the cows in enclosures, you get gold as well. Bruh, I told you that milk is the gold. I told you guys. You guys laughed at me, but I told you that it's all about the milk.
Now, which lets you put your cattle on the ranch and generate that gold over time, and it's better for long-term growth. But obviously they're still there if you want that food now to get your
I
army
think
going.
he might have meant food. Or he might have meant gold. I actually don't know.
Other gold sources, other gold spends. There are some landmark options for leveraging that. In Age 4, you can build the Griot Bara, which lets you spend gold to launch festivals that temporarily buff your entire army with food gathering, military production, siege damage,
cool.
whatever your focus is right now. And then in Age 3, you have the option of building the Farimba Garrison, which can build packs of your infantry units at discounted gold-only cost. So you can pump out archers or donso
mercenaries.
just with a bunch of surplus gold.
Oh, I like that. Okay, I like that.
Speaking of units, there's a lot going on in the Malian roster. They've got a bevy of unique infantry. Mali introduces our first javelin thrower unit, which is an anti-ranged ranged unit. The Donso is a spearman replacement that does everything that you expect a spearman to do in that role, but they also get a javelin that they can throw that's on a moderate cooldown anytime they're not in melee. Like their melee.
See, this is another question that I was asking, right? Is this a one-time throw, or is it a cooldown based? It's a cooldown based, so I'm assuming the cooldown is between 20 and 45 seconds, because otherwise that'd be crazy if it was longer, right? Be kind of useless. Which is very cool from a cool perspective, because every time you engage, they're going to be throwing spears and then charging in, which is cool as fuck. Maybe OP. 10 seconds? No, bro, it's going to be OP.
Melee spear, the Donso's javelin is also anti-cavalry. So if you're charging them with a pack of knights, you're going to eat that javelin volley, then you're going to hit their spear wall, then you're going to start getting stabbed. It's going to be a bad time. Probably the most unique infantry units for Mali, though, are the Musafadi warriors and gunners. Fearsome female hunters, and they're the man-at-arms and hand cannon replacements, respectively. The gunner starts in Age 4 steady warriors and gunners. Wall, then you're going to start getting stabbed. It's going to be a bad time. Probably the most unique infantry units for Mali, though, are the Musafadi warriors and gunners. Fearsome female hunters, and they're the man-at-arms and hand cannon replacements, respectively. The gunner starts in Age 4 standard as your gunpowder comes in. The warrior, however...
For a moment, I thought he said Musafadi warriors are replacing your men-at-arms and hand cannoneers, and I was like, what the fuck? But he said Musafadi warrior and gunners, so there's Musafadi gunners as well that's not shown here.
There's a fast melee attacker that starts in feudal, and it counters armored units. Both Musafadi units share a new cooldown ability to enter stealth for a time, regardless of your terrain. No stealth force required. And so this pair of units can appear out of nowhere, launch devastating sneak attacks, disappear into the fog. In terms of counterplay, the stealth units can be exposed a lot in the same way as if they were in stealth force. Scouts and outposts are effective outside. Okay,
thank God. Okay, it's fine. I said this mechanic will either be complete fucking trash or OP. I like this. This is the right way. Okay? They're stealthed, but scouts and towers reveal them. That is fine. There's a counterplay, that's fine. Dude, yeah, that's fine. Like, if they can stealth the whole map, as long as there's something to reveal them. Because then you gotta play differently against them. Saved, literally saved. That's very good. Because otherwise, this would be incredibly just trash or OP. Like if it was stealth for like 5 seconds or something. And then you get out. It's like, what's the point of it? Right? But, we'll see them. So yeah, okay. Cool.
And they can't enter stealth while they're in active combat.
This won't be this will be very OP in the early game, I think. This unit, Musafari Warrior, it's gonna be really fucking good in the early game. You're gonna have to go 2 scouts against Malians, but if you lose scouts, you're gonna have a very bad time. It's an Age 2. Yeah, if you lose scouts, you're gonna have a fucking bad time against Malians, because then you're gonna get fucked around the map. And you know what the worst part is? You can't go on the map because you don't know if there's units. So then you either need to remake a scout or stay in your base. I thought only gunners go invisible? He said both. Safari warrior who excels at ambush and stealth tactics. No. They don't remain invisible while attacking. That'd be stupid. They're just like invisible while moving, I think. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna need towers and stuff. Like I said, if you're standing in your base, the TC will probably be a detector as well. But if you lose your scouts early game, you're gonna have a very, very bad time. And I'm actually a little bit worried for low leagues, because a lot of people in low leagues got 1 scout, maybe 2, but then they don't use them effectively. And if some Pepega in Gold League makes 20 of these, clicks them in Viz, and just jumps the enemy army, that... I'm calling it right now. In low leagues, people are going to be very upset at this. Yeah, I know. The Grand Antia says invisible heroes are the low league bane. They just die to invisible. I know. This is what I mean. It's same in StarCraft. Low leagues, Omega struggled against Banshees and DTs. So I'm worried about that. But in general, I think this is very cool what I'm hearing so far.
The stealth, and you want to double down on ambushes. In Age 4, you can build the Fort of the Huntress. This lets all nearby Malian infantry enter stealth around the landmark, but it also adds a big damage bonus to the Muso 5D for those first attacks coming out of stealth. It'll kind of nuke them as you pop out.
Yeah, so you're gonna have bonus damage on the first attack from stealth, which is a mechanic that I've seen in a bunch of other games. Well, it's like charge attack, right?
It's a taste of the Malians. There's really more to them than I have time to talk about, but you'll all have them in your hand soon enough.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more to them.
Wow,
and
okay.
We're gonna get more information, obviously, as time goes on, as we get closer to this update. There'll be a lot.
Okay, so Ubu, gold Ubu is 1 per age. You can also mine gold from it, and it's infinite. And you can build houses, and I think he said, or mining camps around it to increase the gather rate. I'm assuming this is not going to boost the gather rate by like tenfold, right? That's the new info. More new info is that you can buy cows or build cows from your mill, and then you can either put them AFK in feudal on the enclosure thing to generate gold, or you can kill them. And he said they're going to have double food from sheep, right? Manual mining will still exhaust the mine. They just said it weird? Okay. I mean, it's still really good, though. Yeah, if it's 500 food... Well, depends how much the cow will cost, though. What's the reasonable cost? Like 200 gold? 300 gold? Like, the amount of gold you're getting? I think 150 gold is too little. 150 gold for 500 food? No, he didn't say the number. 150 gold for 500 food is way too little. Especially if you consider how much free gold the Civ is getting. You still need to harvest it? I mean, it doesn't matter. And then Donzo, the throw spear, before they charge in, has a cooldown. I'm assuming it's going to be 20 to 45 second cooldown. And then Musafari Warrior and Gunners have both stealth, and they're both anti-armor. Did he say they're both anti-armor? Or Gunners are anti-armor? I thought I heard both.
Information for all of you, but it's such an exciting Civ, and it's such a unique use of that stealth there. Like, it's definitely a fun way to get in there, cause some trouble.
Oh, you think you buy the cow and the food generates in the cow so you can get it later. Okay, here we go.
So, supporting that, we'll talk about the first system, which is the military school. So for the Ottomans, they're not going to have a lot of economic bonuses. It's mostly going to be tied into a structure called the military school.
I told you! Told you! I said this. The moment I saw they got so many fucking OP units, I said there's no way they got any eco bonuses. And I even said... they're gonna get beaten by the eco bonuses that exist currently in the game. Because they got the most OP siege unit, they got the fucking Janissaries in Castle, and they got so many military bonuses. Yeah, it's basically, it's gonna be like a harder hitting French, I think, but without eco bonuses. So I actually think that this Civ will not be good on release. Unless the unit stats are just broken. But I think because they got no bonuses, they're gonna struggle surviving early game. I think they're gonna die to a lot of the civs before they actually get to their bonuses for military and all that shit. I might be wrong though.
Cool. So the military school can be built directly from age 1. It is limited in the amount that you can produce based on 1 each age. But it will, after it's built, it can be assigned to produce a unit, and it will slowly produce that unit for free continuously until you reach pop cap or until you change to a different unit. So this is obviously a strong advantage. Its weakness is a little bit of its cost, its slow rate. That slow rate can be improved.
A little bit of its cost.
Their influence system.
If you get it in feudal, and if it says the cost, it has to be at least 200 wood, right? Or maybe even more. At least. Because barracks is 150, right? There's no way it's as expensive as barracks. It has to be more. So it's 200 or above, or maybe it's even gold as well.
But if you give the Ottomans time, then they'll field a tremendous military, and you'll be in trouble. So if
they're gonna be like Ottomans are a mix of China and French, and Malians are like a mix of like Mongols and more Mongols. I don't know. They sound very Mongol alike. I feel like Malians sound like something that Mongols should be able to do, but it doesn't work that way, you know?
Playing against the Ottomans, early aggression tends to be wise. So another system that is representative of the history is the Imperial Council. So the Imperial Council plays into a little bit of the military focus. When you produce a military unit, you get a little bit of experience. That experience will gradually build up, and at certain key intervals, you'll get access to what we call vizier points, which can be used to unlock powerful global technologies. These can allow, they'll prove, one of them will improve the, give you access to another military school or improve the production rate, but they'll have a big impact. And this is kind of a nod to the Sultan and Vizier system that was set up by Osman and continued forth in the Ottoman history. So moving on to some of their unique units. First one to mention is the Great Bombard. So these were special cannons that were actually built for the siege of Constantinople. They were huge, massive cannons that shot 1,000-pound projectiles. So this will be one of the strongest siege weapons that we have in the game. The siege weapon that you'll see on the Ottomans almost doesn't do the real life thing justice, just because we have a little bit of limitations with our pathfinding and whatnot. But this cannon will be very powerful, and it's going to be very expensive, so it's going to be a focus for the Ottoman player to protect it, or it's going to be a focus of attack to really put the Ottoman player in an economic disadvantage if you can kill this thing before it has time to set up and siege down your city. The Meder is a unique Ottoman unit that isn't really.
Now we're gonna.
It's not an.
Now we're gonna hear what buffs it gives. I hope he gives me some numbers though.
Archetypal class. So this is a buffing unit. It's a horseback war drummer. The Meder were war drummers that were used. That were kind of originated with the Ottomans. They were used in combat to kind of organize the troops or strike fear into the enemy troops. They were also used on parade when when armies left a city or were entering a city. So they have a strong history there. In game, it is you have 3 toggles on the unit that can be used to buff nearby troops. So it can be used to buff the attack, the melee defense, or the range defense of the nearby units. only one, you can have multiple metas, but only one buff can be applied to any one unit at a particular time. So you have to be careful about how you organize these amongst your troops and make them dispersed so you can get the greatest possible effect. There's also an Imperial Council technology that allows you to increase the movement speed of any units that's in formation with the meta. So this is kind of fast marching your troops up to the front.
Wait, that are in formation with it? So you have to have this unit selected with your army? I don't know about that. I don't know about that, because formations are kind of wonky.
So you can move your large army around. The last unit that I'll be talking about is the Sipahi. This is a replacement for the light horsemen. The Sipahi it has an ability that allow it to attack quicker for a period of time, but at the cost of taking increased damage from melee attacks. So generally this is a raiding unit. You'll want it there to kind of protect the flanks of your large formation, really go in hard on those archers, but be careful when you use this ability because it could end up backfiring. That's all a bit mentioning about the Ottomans.
This unit is going to be OP, I'm calling it now.
Move on to more general topics, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much just for...
Those horsemen are going to be broken as fuck. I think that's going to be the most broken unit out of Ottomans. Well, the Great Bombarder is probably OP as well, but that unit... Like, horsemen already demolish archers. Now imagine the horsemen that have an activation ability that increases their damage. Like, you know the thing is, the trade-off is not enough because it only increases the damage taken from melee. But you already don't want to fight in melee, like spearmen already wipe you. Alright, we got some more info about the new civs. Really, really cool.